Everybody, Ben here with We Go Fishing, and thank you for clicking on this video. And what I want to talk about here is lures. It's the dog days of summer. Summer is with us, the fish are biting, but how do you know which lures to use? Which lures are the best to go out there and target those redfish, even the trout, the different species that are out there? How do you know which lures are best? In this video, I'm going to talk about the lures that you need to have in your box to catch more redfish during the summer heat. And I'll even give you some tips on how to rig them. Let's get to it. As we're talking about which lures to use to go get those redfish during the summer, some just basic things to think about when you're coming up on the water. Whether you're shore fishing or from a boat, look for signs of bait activity. That's going to be really important. Make sure there's bait in the water, whether it's shrimp, whether it's bait fish, mullet, even shad, whatever it might be that's local to you. Make sure that there's bait fish that's moving. Birds can really help you with that, so pay attention to bird activity as well. Water movement's going to be important. You're going to want to pay attention to potential feeding areas. Remember, the species that we're going after are ambush predators, and so we're going to make sure that we're targeting those points and those areas where ambush predators are going to sit. Also, you might want to consider some of the cooler times of the day. Early mornings, late evenings tend to be a little bit better, although I think paying attention to your majors and minors is very important, as well as tidal conditions. Pay attention to your incoming and outgoing tides. Things like that are really going to help you. And whether you're fishing with the lures or whether you're fishing with live baits, those sort of things are things that we need to be watching for when we're out there on the water. So let's get into the lures. All right, I'm going to be honest with you. The first lure I'm going to show you is one I'm not very good at. I know how to use it. I know how to present it, but it's not one that I use very often, just because of the style of fishing that I do. And it's these guys right here. These are top water lures. This is a super spook. This is kind of like in that silver color. You can get to this size. This one's a 4-inch one. And then this is a super spook junior. This one's in the pearl. And these are really effective, especially in the early mornings, walking the dog and retrieving these. It is a little bit technique. It's a finesse type of thing to do. But poppers, top water baits can be highly effective in the mornings when the redfish are coming up shallow to get into those muddy areas. And you can throw these right on top and you can use these. And these are very good. They come with rattles as well in them, and just all that flashing and things will definitely get their attention. So the first lure that you're going to have in your box is going to be some sort of top water, something like this, like a super spook or a popper, something along those lines is going to help you get some of those early morning hookups on those redfish. One of my go-to lures, and this might be a little controversial because some people don't like them, but I use them. They're the things that I use it for search baits. When I don't know if there are fish in the area, this is one of the first things that I put on my line. Karen uses them a lot too, and it's gulps. And they come in different things. You can get gulps like this. This is a shrimp presentation. It's a glow chartreuse. The color does matter because it matters the water clarity that you're fishing. So where I'm fishing, the water's a little bit more muddier, a little bit stained and things like that. So I tend to go with these style with the glow chartreuse, and this is the shrimp style. And also this is one that I have used everywhere. It's probably my favorite gulp, and that is the swimming mullet. Again, this is in the chartreuse color. And these are very effective. I've caught just about everything on them. I even caught my first snook in Texas on one of these. So very effective. Gulp, of course, you know, has its own scents and things like that. I tried my very best to keep them in the packaging, but sometimes that juice spills out and it stinks and it's terrible. But in any case, you can definitely rig these up on jig heads. And I use, depending on the water I'm fishing, different size jig heads. This is a 1/4 ounce jig head. But you rig them on the jig heads. You go from your braid to your fluorocarbon or your monoliter, and then you tie on your jig head. And of course, then you're going to put your gulp on that. You can actually also Carolina rig these. I know a lot of people that do that, and they'll bounce them along the sea along the bottom there and pick up some flounder. I've picked up plenty of flounder during that. Very, very easy. Some people even drop shot them. So these are very effective and something that you should definitely have access to, especially if you don't know if there are fish in the water, because fish are definitely attracted to those gulps. Another essential lure that I think should be in your box if you are going after redfish, trout, inshore species is a paddle tail. One that looks like this. This is from the from the Salt Strong guys. This is a 2.0 Slam Shady, I think that's what they call it. These are very effective. They work very well. You catch everything with them. They definitely have some fleck in there. And then of course the paddle tail presentation. You rig those onto a jig head as well is a very easy way to rig them. And these are very effective during the summer months. You can actually get the bigger size too. They have ones that are 4 inches. And those actually work pretty well. Whether it's the paddle tails from Salt Strong with these Slam Shadies, or whether it's from down south or one of the other manufacturers of these paddle tails, the color does matter. Again, knowing the color goes along with the clarity of the water, goes along with the type of water that you're fishing. But I find that this color, this pearl type color, is very effective. I also use a glow chartreuse in the area that I'm in with down at South Lures, and they work very well too. And while we're on the subject of paddle tails, I would want to mention this guy right here. This is what they call Redfish Magic. And you can see it's a pre-made. It's got a jig head on the one side. This paddle tail can come on or off, but then it has this underspin. And this underspin is going to be pulled along, so it's going to be kind of flashing underneath of it. And this combo here, this is called Redfish Magic. I think it's made by Strike King. I can't remember exactly on that, but this is a highly effective rig for redfish. They love it. They will tear it up, especially with that gold spoon. It takes the best of two things, being the paddle tail and the gold spoon, to combine it and get you some of these. Keep these in your box. These are very, very effective for search baits as well. When you don't know if they're there, you can flip these out there and you can work a lot of water with them very quickly. They work just like a spinner if you're bass fishing. So these are very effective. I would definitely recommend having Redfish Magic in your box as well. There's different presentations you can have when you're doing jig heads and things like that with these lures. You can do a straight retrieve where you're just simply reeling it in. You can jig it and you can bounce along. You can twitch pause is another one that's very common, or just a twitch pause and let it sink, and then pick it up again and let it sink. A lot of times you're gonna get those strikes on the down of that lure. So make sure that you're giving that predator some time though. I do think that pausing your retrieve does help that predator latch onto it, especially if they're following it and looking at it. Sometimes when it pauses and falls and then you pick it back up, it'll trigger that strike. So be patient and persistent with them. Redfish, trout, it's hot, and sometimes they can be very finicky when it's hot. So give them that extra little bit of presentation can really go a long way to getting some action and some tight lines during the summer months. And of course, whether it be the paddle tails, the gulps, or the imitation shrimp lures, they do pair well with our popping corks. You knew that was gonna come up. So make sure you get our popping corks. They work very well. We've used gulps underneath them. We use the voodoo shrimp underneath them. We even use paddle tails underneath of them. And it gives it just that little bit of extra sound, a little bit of extra twitch and pause and that fall. And all of that really combines to really get some extra strikes out of them. So pick up our popping corks. In the description below, you'll find a link to your favorite popping cork, the We Go Fishing popping cork, in the description below. A couple more things to think about when you're out there in the water in the heat. Make sure you stay hydrated. Drink plenty of water throughout the day because you do not want to get hydrated. Wear breathable clothing. Sunscreen is also very important to protect yourself in the elements, and take breaks. A lot of times you come in the middle of the day, maybe take some breaks, go back out there in the evening, but make sure that you're doing your best to stay out there, stay healthy, stay away from the heat exhaustion and all those things. So these are some tips that I have, some lures that I carry when I'm out there on the water during the summer months, but I want to hear what you carry in your box. So let me know that in the comments below. And again, like I said, I do my very best to interact with every comment that comes in on the channel. So if you have questions or comments, put it down there and I'll do my best to either answer them or respond to you. And again, I'd love to learn from you as well, what you're using out there and some tips and tricks that you have. Also, make sure that you subscribe to the channel, like the video, do all those things. That really does help us out. And until next time, may the fish be with you.